Ever get that feeling like you're just one step away from something huge, like a mystery just waiting to be solved?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, today's deep dive, we're taking you straight into one of those mysteries.
Okay.
And it's got all the right ingredients. A captivating story, conflicting accounts.
Right.
And that question that keeps us all coming back for more, right?
Right.
What if there's more to it than meets the eye?
Yeah.
We're talking about the enigmatic case of Estefania Gutierrez Lazaro, 1990s Madrid, a seemingly normal family, the Gutierrez Lazaros, thrust into a whirlwind of strange events after the death of their daughter, Estefania.
And what makes this case so fascinating, so compelling, is that it isn't just some ghost story. It's a story woven from threads of personal tragedy, of conflicting narratives. It's about trying to make sense of the senseless world.
And it all starts, at least according to some, with a Ouija board.
The Ouija board, an object so simple in its design, yet so steeped in mystery and folklore. It's fascinating, isn't it? Just a piece of wood with letters and numbers, but somehow it becomes a portal to... Well, that's the question, isn't it?
Exactly. We're diving into the story of Estefania Gutierrez Lazaro.
Right.
This deep dive takes us back to 1990s Madrid, where it all began. So imagine, if you will, a bustling school library, a group of teenagers huddled around, yes, you guessed it, a Ouija board.
It's like a scene straight out of a movie, isn't it?
It is. And among them is Estefania, an 18-year-old with a passion for fashion and design, a far cry from the
Right.
the troubled teen image some accounts try to paint.
Right, right.
But here's where it gets interesting. During this, shall we say, fateful Ouija board session, something unexpected happens.
Yeah.
Estefania's younger sister, Marianella, who was there that day, describes a strange force taking hold. The door to the library, as their teacher approached, suddenly jammed shut.
Almost as if whatever was present didn't want to be disturbed.
Right, and it's all a bit, well, creepy.
And this is just the beginning. Now, some say the teacher, startled by the commotion, broke the board.
Oh, wow.
But Marianella's account differs a bit. She remembers the students themselves gripped by a sudden, inexplicable fear,
Oh, that's even weirder.
shattering the board.
Okay, so we've got a Ouija board, strange events, a mysterious force.
Right, yeah.
It all sounds like a recipe for, well, for a haunting.
It does, doesn't it?
But what really happened to Estefania? Did things just go back to normal after that day in the library?
That's the question, isn't it? Because according to accounts, as the glass of that Ouija board shattered, a strange white smoke, almost like
Oh, no.
a shroud, enveloped Estefania.
Yeah.
And that's where things take a decided turn.
A strange white smoke, huh? It's like something straight out of, well, every ghost story ever.
It's a powerful image, isn't it?
It is. So what happened to Estefania after this whole Ouija board incident? Did she, snap out of it?
That's what's so interesting about this case. It's like something fundamentally changed after that day in the library.
Oh.
Yeah, Estefania, who was, by all accounts, a pretty typical teenager,
Yeah.
she starts experiencing these strange episodes, almost trance-like,
Okay, trance-like. Like how?
Well, her own family, they describe her voice changing, becoming deep, raspy.
Whoa, hold on. Deep and raspy. Possessed by a demon deep and raspy?
It's certainly a chilling detail, right?
Is. But come on, couldn't it have been a prank? Teenagers, right. Especially after that Ouija board thing.
You're thinking maybe she was trying to scare her friends?
Exactly.
It's possible. But the accounts go beyond just a simple prank. There's talk of Estefania speaking in different voices, even muttering things she couldn't remember afterward.
Okay, now that's just creepy. I keep thinking back to that feeling of a cold hand that Estefania's mother described feeling.
Right.
It's like a classic horror movie trope, isn't it? The cold spot, the unseen presence.
It's a recurring theme in a lot of paranormal stories, yeah. That feeling of coldness, it often comes with a sense of dread, of something being off.
Totally. And it wasn't just the voice and the cold, was it? The family, they reported other strange things happening around their home too, right?
You're right. We're talking about objects moving seemingly on their own.
Oh, way.
Pictures askew, furniture creaking at odd hours.
Like a poltergeist.
That's what they say. And the thing is, these weren't just isolated incidents. These events, they became more frequent, more intense as time went on.
It's like whatever was happening, it was growing stronger, bolder.
It's a thought, isn't it?
It is. And, we talked about how the family had just lost Estefania's grandfather.
Right, a significant loss.
Exactly. So could that have played a role in all of this?
It's certainly a factor to consider. Grief can be a powerful thing. And the human mind, under extreme stress, it can do some pretty strange things. We're talking about psychosomatic responses, where emotional distress can manifest in physical ways.
So like when you're super stressed and you get a headache
Okay.
or an upset stomach.
Precisely. But in this case, we're talking about a family dealing with an unimaginable loss. And on top of that, these strange, unexplained events.
It's like their grief, their stress, it's messing with their perception of reality.
It can happen. The line between what's real and what's imagined, it can become very blurred in those situations.
So we're talking about blurred lines between reality and imagination, the power of grief, and of course these unexplained events. And this is where, if I remember correctly, things escalate. The family, they decide to call for help, right?
Right. It's November 19th, 1992. The family, they're at their wits' end. They're terrified. They need answers. So they call the police.
Wow. I mean, what a wild situation to be in. You think your house is haunted, so you call the cops. What did the police make of all this? Did they think the family was, making it all up?
Well, the police report, it's actually quite fascinating. The inspector who responded to the call, Jose Pedro Negri, he had a reputation for being, well, let's just say he was a bit of a skeptic.
Okay, so not the kind of guy to be easily spooked by a couple of creaking floorboards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He probably thought he was walking into a case of an overactive imagination.
Right.
But as the night went on, even Inspector Negri, he had to confront the possibility that something truly strange was happening in that house.
Okay, I gotta know. What happened? Did the police actually witness anything unexplainable?
According to the official report, as the inspector is sitting there in the living room with the family, a cupboard door, it suddenly flies open with this loud bang.
A cupboard door. Okay, I mean, maybe it was just a draft. Or, I don't know, a loose hinge?
That's what you'd think, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, it wasn't just a simple creak. The witnesses, they described a violent, unexplained force. And get this, even after they closed the door, it kept shaking and rattling like something was trying to get out.
Okay, that's a little creepy. But a door's a door. What else happened?
Well, that's not all. The police report, it goes on to describe all sorts of sounds coming from the kitchen, pots and pans, furniture scraping against the floor. They thought maybe there was an intruder, so they run to investigate, but
Adam Reyes.
nothing. The kitchen was empty. No sign of forced entry. No explanation for the sounds they all clearly heard.
Wow. So they're hearing things, seeing things. It's like a scene ripped right out of one of those paranormal investigation shows. So what did they make of it all?
Well, the police report itself, it's remarkably objective. It just lays out the facts as observed by these trained professionals. But it doesn't try to explain anything away. It acknowledges that these unexplainable events did, in fact, happen.
So the police, they were just as baffled as the family.
Pretty much. And the thing is, even after the police left that night, the strange events, they didn't stop for the Gutierrez Lazaro family.
So this wasn't just a one-time thing. This family, they continued to experience these strange and unsettling events in their home.
Yes, it's a truly puzzling case.
It really makes you wonder, is there something more to all of this? Is there something beyond our understanding at work here?
That's the question, isn't it? We've looked at grief, the power of the human mind, even the possibility of hoaxes. But some cases, like this one, they just leave you with more questions than answers. What do you think?
I think it's amazing how these stories, these mysteries, they continue to fascinate us. They remind us that there's still so much we don't know about the world, about ourselves.
Exactly. And maybe that's the point. Maybe these stories, they're not meant to be solved. Maybe they're just meant to make us think, to question, and to keep an open mind.
Well said. And on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive into the strange and unsettling case of Estefania Gutierrez Lazaro. Until next time, keep those minds open, and who knows, maybe you'll uncover a mystery or two of your own.